All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning into the Sports Card Therapist, where I give you a behind the scenes look at my hobby hustle and sprinkle in some self care and wellness on top of that. I'm Rob Gerard, your sports card therapist. And whether if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, or watching on YouTube, welcome to the podcast. Wow. The National 2023 Rosemont, Illinois is just about in the books. And let me tell you, wow. So this is episode 198, and we are calling this the National 2023 Recap Part 1 because this is going to be a 3 episode series that I'm going to drop probably within every 2 days. I'm going to release a new one. So today's Sunday, I'm going to release this. I'll probably release one on Tuesday, probably one on Thursday. There was just so much to put in to a single episode. It just does not make sense. And I'm actually going to be crossing over into my 200th episode. So I don't even care. I don't even want to have a celebratory 200th episode. I just want to talk about the National. That's all I care about. Um, but yeah, there's so much to digest and unpack from what the last week has been like. But if I had to sum it up in one word, I would say whirlwind, amazing, hobby changing, life changing. All right, so that's more that's more than one word, I know, but there's no real easy way for me to sum up what going to the National is like. I can tell you one thing. I felt similar after last year's National in Atlantic City as well. And the one thing I can tell you is that I'm feeling more focused than ever on exactly which direction I want to head toward in this hobby with my collecting. That's really all it comes down to with my collecting. What do I want to do? What direction do I want to go in? What players do I really want to hone in on? And it's the National, the Hobby Super Bowl, the Hobby New Year, Rosemont, Illinois. And I'll go on record and say it, but I think it should be in Rosemont year, every year. And I'm going to get into that over the next couple episodes as to why I think that. But I don't even think there should be another option. It's crazy because you would think that a huge event like this, yeah, like why not spread it around, right? Why not spread it around and hit all different parts of the country as long as they can handle the size and the capacity of the people that are going to be there. But Rosemont truly has everything, and everything is really within walking distance. So, you know, just being able to see so many friends in the hobby in a like every person, not every person, right? A lot of people didn't go. I realize that. And there were a lot of people I missed that I would have loved to have seen this year that did not go. But to see so many friends at a single event, it's unlike anything I can really think of. And I think that's the reason why wedding days are like when you get married. Before I had kids, I look back on it, and up to that point, my wedding day was probably the greatest day of my life, right? I mean, obviously, you're exchanging vows and hopefully tying the knot with the love of your life. But a major factor, at least for me, and what makes weddings so incredible is that for the most part, you have your closest friends and your closest family all in a single room for probably the first and only time in your life, right? No other time is every person that's important to you going to be there at that event. And that's kind of what it felt like at the National. Now, like I said, obviously there's some people that I know of that I'm like, oh man, I wish they could have went. They weren't there. But when you have so many people in one room. It's just incredible. And when it comes to this hobby, I know that not everyone could go to the National. So if a lot of you were unable to go for whatever reason, I'm sorry that you missed it. Sometimes people just choose not to go. I think the point I'm trying to make is that at the National, you have most of the people in the hobby that you spend 365 days a year talking to, investing investing emotionally and time in these relationships that we have, right? You have them all under one roof all of a sudden. And on an emotional level, it's extremely humbling and gives me the chills, even as I'm saying these words right now. So, man, busy, busy, busy. the great thing about the National is that from the moment you wake up until about 5 or 6 PM, you know that really 99% of everything is gonna be happening right at the convention center, and that's because that's where the cards are, right? We're there for we're there for the people, we're there for the cards, but that's where the cards are. So, I know I definitely got invited to a bunch of different events, like, have lunch here, come to this lunch and go to that lunch, and, like different things that are maybe outside of the convention center, maybe even within walking distance or short Uber ride away, but you know, I'll speak for myself. I'm not looking to leave the convention center for any reason, unless it's maybe to grab a quick lunch, right? Like a quick walking distance kind of lunch thing, because the lunch options are not the greatest at the convention center. But other than that, you're going to be inside the convention center. That's where all the people are. That's where all the cards are. So chances are you're going to be there walking around, looking at cards with friends. Um, And I think the difficult thing can be when you're doing that is trying to schedule and prioritize who you're actually going to meet and spend time with, right? So there's like this balancing act of, either text messaging or DMing each other saying, "Let's meet up here. Let's do this. Let's get together. Let's grab a bite. Let's do this." But really just walking around, very few places can you go to where you look at your watch, it's 10 AM, and the next time you look at your watch, it's 5 PM, and you're like, "I cannot believe I just spent 7 hours walking, talking, meeting people, looking at cards. I haven't had a single thing to drink, I haven't had a single thing to eat, um, and I haven't even sat down." I never looked at my phone, I never looked at my watch. Maybe I pulled out my phone to comp something, right? But it's like, unbelievable. And those are the moments, right? Those are the moments. Those are the incredible moments when you're there with friends and you're there with hobby friends, where lifelong memories are going to be made. And I'd love to get people's feedback on this, but it definitely felt like there was less screaming and less sirens going off than I've seen in the last few nationals. And which, listen, I could have just missed it. It could have been there subconsciously. I could have just like blocked out all the BS, kept it strictly about cards. I'm not sure, but I felt like I did hear less like antics, and whenever you do hear it, it's usually from breakers. It's from like, people that are breaking products and they're like, they're, either A, they get a big hit, or B, they're on some little cheap microphone headset trying to get people, guys, let's get the volume up. Ah, people are screaming. Like, that's cool. I know there's a segment of the hobby for that. That's not me. But that's cool. Like, I'm fine with that. But it felt like there was like less of that, which in my mind was kind of cool. I appreciate it anyways. So, and I also felt like I saw less people with cameras and microphones, which is awesome. It was just more people looking at the cards, more people buying cards, more people taking their time to figure out exactly what they want. Um, like I said, I could have missed it. I don't know. I didn't bring a camera. I didn't have a camera following me around. Um, just I don't know. I would just, and I'm not knocking anyone that did. I know for me, I just I wanted to be in the moment as much as I can. And that's not to say that I might not ever like, have a camera with me. But no, I just at the national, just something I really just always want to soak in and be part of. So that's pretty cool. So going to an event of this magnitude for me is strictly about the people, strictly about all these relationships I've made in the hobby, all these relationships that I've spent time, energy, and passion into curating, just like we do with our collections, right? We're always curating our collections. In a way, it's almost like a lot of us are always kind of curating our hobby circle, right? It's like our collections. We have our main PC. We have our main personal collection, which are the people that we talk to most in the hobby, right? The people that we talk to every day. Then from there, we kind of have our side branches, right? We have our side PCs that we spend a lot of time building, have a lot of passion and love for into those things, but it's not the main PC. It's not your main wolf pack. And it's about priority. And I think at National we prioritize the cards and we prioritize our relationships and friendships, and it's no different. So So much happened that I'm going to get into over the course of the next few episodes. But I just want to give a quick acknowledgement to my guys, the Wolfpack, Big Ken, Cousin Tony, Cousin Oz, Craig and Carmine from Crosstown Cardboard. The week that I spent with these guys, it felt like it was life changing, right? And I'm not trying to be I'm trying not to be too dramatic here or go out on a limb too much, man. But I tell you, man, I no longer just look at these guys as like friends in the hobby, and I looked at them as real friends before, but I tell you, man, these guys really, after the week that we spent together, they are true life friends. They're family, and the bond it just felt incredibly strengthened during this national, for me anyways. I can't speak for them, but for me. And it's a bond that just kind of feels unbreakable. So I love these guys. So really cool stuff. Also, the Wolfpack trade night / hobby hangout was a raging success. So thank you to everyone that was involved, whether if you were a sponsor, a Wolfpack member, helped with the planning, or you just showed up to trade. There were a ton of pop-up trading events that happened no matter where you went. They were popping up in hotel lobbies, hotel rooms, convention lobby floors, everywhere. And I think that myself and the other Wolfpack members realized that all these trading events were going to happen. And regardless if we put our name on an event like that or not, but what we're most proud about, I think I'll speak for myself, is that I was able to help find a place, right? Find a huge space that was safe from getting shut down. Because even in the moment, right? Like in the weeks leading up to the national, we heard about how all trade nights are going to be shut down if they're not approved by the national. And really the nationals only approved one or two of these. So anything else is getting shut down. Like they have some sort of big muscle like that, right? To just reach out to other hotels that they might not even, I don't know. The whole thing rubbed me the wrong way. Then they tried to backpedal on it. And I think they kind of ended up with egg on their face because they realized, like, kind of like how corny they were being. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. But what we felt really good about was we knew that we were planning this event, the Wolfpack Trade Night, at a place where it was out of the Nationals' reach. They couldn't touch us even if they wanted to. So we wanted to find a huge space that was safe from getting shut down and provide it to anyone that wanted to come and just wanted to go and trade and hang out, right? We provided a place that had plenty of tables, plenty of seating area, whether if it was on the floor or chairs. We gave out free T-shirts, free custom Wolfpack trading cards. There was a cash bar. There was a DJ playing music for hours and hours. It was just a vibe. It was a vibe, and there were some huge names in the hobby that were there that came, and it was just great, man. So thank you to everyone that showed up and helped make that a success because you know, it was definitely a vibe. That's for sure. We're proud of it. We were able to accomplish that. The event started at 6 p.m. on Friday night, but people started coming in right at 5:30. And so think about this. People started coming in at 5:30 p.m. At 1:30 a.m., we all went upstairs to go to sleep. There were still hundreds of people down there. There were still hundreds of people in the room that we had as the Wolfpack trade night, because other places that night were getting shut down. Other places. So I guess so at the Hyatt, no, at Lowe's, sorry, at Lowe's, which was next door, they were just having like pop-up trade nights, like basically like nothing organized, but everyone was kind of meeting there. That ended up being like one of the main meeting hotels to just hang out at. And the cops ended up going there and shutting everything down on Friday. They kicked everyone out that did not have a room there. So I want to say like around 11:30 midnight, we just got a massive crowd of people that came over from Lowe's. So I mean, our thing was popping and raging for well into the wee hours, into the early morning. It was like a 12-hour event and ended up turning into. So it was amazing. So big shout out to everyone that had deals, that made deals, that hung out, that just really felt a part of this community, and that's what we were looking to do, an all-inclusive kind of event, because again, it's the people. It was the people, right? Man. And like for me, like the hundreds, if not thousands of people that I've talked to through DMs over the last year coming up introducing themselves, right? It was being able to see a lot of my vintage family at the event. We had a vintage meetup that we did Thursday night. We did a big vintage meetup, some big names, some big collectors, even small names and small collectors that are all part of our vintage chat all showed up. We had a great time doing that. I was able to see Nate, who is at in Cardboard Veritas, there with his son, having an incredible time. I was able to see Matt, my guy at 1956 Topps Guy, get one of the most incredible pieces of card art that I've ever seen that included an authentic Ernie Banks cut autograph. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm like name dropping. Like I just have some of the most incredible relationships with people in the hobby. Other content creators, influencers. I was able to see just like give them a big hug. Right. And I don't mean like a nice handshake or like a quick dap or like, how you kind of lean in and like hit shoulders for a second. Hey, how you doing? I mean, like walking around the table, like, making room, going over there and just giving them a big bear hug, like embrace. You know what I mean? I was able to do that with guys like Jeremy Lee, Adam, the Real 27 guy, Chris Hose from Card Ladder, who I've met so many times before, but it was great to see him and Christina, Dustin Sports Cards dad. And, it's like, I saw plenty of other people there too, but those guys that I just mentioned now, Jeremy, Adam, Chris, Dustin, these are guys that I'm in contact with almost daily, right? Like almost daily. Those are guys who I have conversations with like on the phone. We pick up the phone, we talk on the phone, we FaceTime, we're exchanging messages daily. So to see those guys amongst all the other ones that I see and talk about and saw in person, it was amazing. Right, Adam Wise, who's a Wise Guy Sports Cards, been a big part of the PWCC show. I was able to meet him in person, meet him and his wife. Meeting Iowa Dave finally in person, who, by the way, Iowa Dave comes up to me and gifts me a Mickey Mantle on-card auto that he obtained 38 years ago as a kid. I refused to take it. I said, Dave, dude, I love you, Dave, man. I appreciate the gesture more than I can even say. I cannot accept this. I cannot accept this. And he went into this story, talked about how he obtained it. He was a kid, 1985. And I said, I can't take this. And he said, I have no emotional connection to it, Rob. You are a Mantle fan. Your father was a Mantle fan. Like, this belongs to you. Dude, what can I say? I just said thank you so much, Dave. So it was things like that, Jake 90s b-ball cards, who always gifts me John Stockton cards when I see him. Um, I'm forgetting it. I want to say it was Calvin B cards that gifted me all these Eli Manning cards, silver prisms, numbered cards. I was in awe. I'm like, what is going on? I just want to say thank you. Just want to say thank you. Of course there were plenty of deals made, cards picked up, cards moved, negotiations. I'll get into all those details of all the other things over the next few days. But in this episode, I just really wanted to highlight, I think, the people aspect, the relationships aspect, because for me, that was the highlight. The highlight was the people. The highlight was the relationships. The highlight was being able to see each other and just say hello, handshakes, hugs. I hugged more grown men in the last week than I would care to say. But seriously, so yeah, it was great. And before I wrap up, the last thing I just want to say real quick was, you know, I I love Big Ken, man. I love Big Ken from Sports Card Lessons, so I just want to say thank you to him for helping secure the space and getting us such great space to set up at the National. But I was talking to him and I told him, I said, I don't think I want to set up next year in Cleveland. I don't think I want to set up next year. Or at least, have any kind of big inventory, maybe just one showcase with stuff priced. That way I can just walk the show. That way I can just walk the show for 4 or 5 days and really just soak it in and really truly see everything. Also, at the Wolfpack trade night, I had a gentleman who owns a venue in Cleveland, right next to where next year's National is going to be, and he already offered to be the host of next year's Wolfpack trade night. So walked right up to me at the trade night, talked to the other Wolfpack members, and so yeah, next year, Cleveland, we're doing another trade night. So that's a beautiful thing. So the next episode that I will be dropping, it'll be part two of the 2023 National, be discussing more details about the show, all the events, everything else that took place, everything I saw, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I guess that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode, though. Great, great, great time. Had a phenomenal time. I just really wanted to record an episode, get it out there, and just talk about how incredible it was from, you know, being able to go there. So thank you again very much, guys. And like I always say, take care of yourselves and your collection. Have a good one.